So, back for another Funconventional, and this time we are going to be looking at Spectrier. Because it's Series 7 now, and effectively VGC21, I've decided to reset the Funconventional, so we're going to be going forward with the Series 7 Pokemon, starting with Spectrier, because I did effectively build a Spectrier team for the Players' Cup 2, even though Spectrier came onto the team an hour before the teams had to be locked in, because it was originally a Celesteela, and then that wasn't really working out, and then theoried Spectrier moments before we had to be locked in, and then it was actually pretty good. So going to be still using that team for the next week for the Believe in Boyt as well, but decided to do this Spectrier as the first Funconventional Pokemon because it's being a bit overshadowed by Glastrier, because obviously Glastrier is top tier with like amazing bulk and amazing offense, and people are just comparing Spectrier to Glastrier, even though they are very different Pokemon in how they perform. So I think that's a bit unfair on Spectrier, just because they're both horses that you can get either one in the game and you know all that. They do very different things, and yeah, Spectrier is definitely a very, very strong Pokemon, and very underused at the moment, I think. And this is, I think, the best set for the Spectrier as well. It's a bit different to what my Players' Cup Spectrier was, because that was made like an hour before lock-in, like I said. So now I've actually had time to look at an EV spread, come up with this one, and it does some quite nice things. It survives a Life Orb Dragapult Phantasm when you Dynamax as well, so you'll be able to survive that. It is still able to OHKO a Tapu Fini at +2 with a Max Phantasm thanks to the spell tag. That means you don't need any special attack investments, which lets you have all the bulk. It survives an opposing Spectrier Shadow Ball if they're timid. They're just, you know, the Focus Sash Spectrier that people seem to be starting with, and it outspeeds the genies, so like Thundurus and Tornadus and stuff as well. So it actually does some quite nice things. Has some very, very respectable bulk, especially with the fact that you can pair it with Snarl and Will-O-Wisp as well. Very common combinations with things like Arcanine, and Entei's kind of picking up as well, with Sacred Fire and Snarl, but Spectrier can do that just as well. A bit faster as well. It can outspeed both the Entei and the Arcanine, so it can get the jump on a few things. Like I said, the Thundurus, it can outspeed Kartanas as well. Even though the Entei and Arcanine do counter Kartana, they aren't able to outspeed it. It can outspeed Zapdos, it can outspeed Nihiligos to be able to snarl them as well. So it's really nice with its speed tier, and because it's so fast and doesn't need the offense, well, at least the special attack EVs, you can put a lot into bulk, and it's entirely respectable. And another thing that it has over the Arcanine and kind of the Entei, not so much Entei, is it can actually do proper damage with the Shadow Ball. It's because you got what, Heat Wave standardly on Arcanine. Sacred Fire does some reasonable damage, but Shadow Ball does a nice chunk of damage, and it can also be a very viable Dynamax candidate if you just click Nasty Plot once as well. So it's going to be picking up a lot of KOs with that Max Phantasm if you get that Nasty Plot off, which you can definitely do if you have this much bulk. You can click Nasty Plot quite a lot of the time as well, which is really nice. And yeah, the Grimnay going to be stacking with it as well. That's the special Moxie is really nice, effectively the Beast Boost kind of thing, and it really can snowball. If you get one Nasty Plot off and then you just start picking up KOs, you're going to be OHKOing everything at that point. And if they don't outspeed you, then you're going to be snowballing through the team, because Ghost is one of the best offensive coverage moves, and you don't really need any coverage. Like, you can have Mud Shots to be able to deal with Incineroar somewhat, because at +2 you do OHKO Incineroar with a Max Quake. So Mud Shot does have some sort of place on the Spectrier, but really you only need Shadow Ball and just have other things to be able to deal with Incineroar and the Dark types and the normal types as well. But if you have Snarl, then you're not completely walled by the normal types, so that's something. And yeah, you don't get to make use of your defense, the defense drops that you get from Phantasm, but you can just pair that with physical attackers, and you're going to be sorted. So yeah, Spectrier is really nice. I did run it with substitutes in the Players' Cup because, like I said, I threw it on an hour before, and I just theoried, okay, Nasty Plot's going to be good. I don't need coverage. Let's go for substitute because the other two Pokemon on the team have substitute, so why not have a third? And Taunt can definitely be a very good move as well. Like with Grimmsnarls on the dual screens kind of teams where they have Taunt over Thunderwave some of the times. You can still do the same thing with the Spectrier, just put it on the Arcanine/Entei instead, so you can free up something for like Thunderwave on the Grimmsnarls as well. Because you could just effectively replace Arcanine/Entei with this Spectrier, and theoretically you'll be fine. So putting Taunt onto the Spectrier, maybe I'd probably put it in place of Nasty Plots, would let you have the speed control on the Grimmsnarl, because that is another Pokemon that is really, really tight for moves, and yeah, it's it's a pretty good Pokemon, I think, this Spectrier. Very underused. And I've got another set for you, because I thought of this one as well. If you pair it with a Tapu Koko, effectively the Tapu Koko could be the same thing as the Grimmsnarl / Regieleki. You can still run the dual screens on the Tapu Koko, have Electro Web, and all that stuff as well. And then if you give the Spectrier the Electric Seed, then you're going to be super bulky defensively. You'll still be able to raise your defense, or effectively raise your defenses with the Snarl and Will-O-Wisp, and then have Calm Mind instead of Nasty Plot. Because then you'll be able to make use of the super bulk that you'll have on the Spectrier with the +1. You won't be able to get some Okos that you would have been able to get at +2, but then you can just Grimnay your way up to +2. So this Spectrier could be very, very bulky if you let it, because that's a lot of defensive EVs. The special attack, what did the special attack do? It O-coded Dragapult, just a Dragapult, not a Dynamax one, just a regular Dragapult with Shadow Ball, and it outspeeds Zapdos at this point. So it depends on whether you feel like you need to outspeed Thundurus / Kartana, because those are and Nihiligos, I guess, as well, because those are the only real things that are in the meta at the moment. I guess Raichus as well. Raichu should be picking up because of Regieleki, but yeah, there's only a few Pokemon that you sacrifice underspeeding, and then you get a super amount of bulk with the defensive EVs. You don't just about miss out on the survival of the Life Orb Phantasm from Dragapult, not in Dynamax with the Electric Seeds. This could be a Grassy Seed as well. You could go for Fake Out with Rillaboom and Calm Mind as well. That would work just as well. But yeah, it's pretty close, and being able to outspeed Zapdos, at least, you should definitely be outspeeding Urshifu, so you can Will-O-Wisp them first. So yeah, you can't really afford to survive the Dragapult with just the Grassy Seed / Electric Seed in regular. You'd have to Dynamax to survive that, but then you'd be taking only like 55%, so that wouldn't be so bad, and you'd hopefully be able to respond with a KO. But yeah, the Spectrier as well, the other main thing that people have been using it with is Bulldoze, your own Metagross, and that is definitely viable. You can easily have just the Snarl Will-O-Wisp and then put Bulldoze over Calm Mind or Nasty Plot as well, so that you're setting up something else rather than setting up Spectrier, because you still have the Grimnay. If you get a KO, that's still going to be increasing your damage output, so you can definitely have space for Bulldoze on your Spectrier, because Bulldoze with Metagross is such a good combination. But yeah, that seems to be all people have done at the moment. They've just gone for Bulldoze their own Metagross. They've just gone for Focus Sash, then just max speed, max offense. You really don't need max speed. There's not much between Thundurus and Tapu Koko. And even then, you're going with all that speed just for a speed tie that you're going to lose 50% of the time. So I way prefer just accepting that I've lost every single speed tie with that Pokemon and then just have a huge amount of bulk available. That is definitely my preference, and I think the Spectrier, with this amount of bulk, definitely is going to have a place in the metagame, because people have just been saying, oh, Dragapult exists, so Spectrier is not worth, and that is just such a bad way to look at a Pokemon. If Xerneas is in the meta, then don't use Yveltal. That's clearly poor logic, and it's just like the same thing with Spectrier and Dragapult. So yeah, Spectrier is definitely a viable Pokemon, and I'm probably going to be using it quite a lot in VGC21. I've been liking it a lot when I've been using it, so I'm going to be trying to fit it on as many teams as I can, and I'm going to be using it on the Colossal team that I made for the Players' Cup for the coming week as well. So that's going to be it for this first Funconventional of Series 7 / VGC21. Because I have reset the Funconventional Pokemon, Ripcherim and Wigglytuff, and I can't remember what the other thing was. But yeah, because it's a new series, new VGC year, so you need to be putting it into the comments, please, the new Pokemon that you want to be seeing. They can be any Pokemon that is in Series 7, and now there is a lot more Pokemon available, so I won't be picking Pokemon that I've already done Funconventionals for, but if you want to be putting in your favourite Pokemon, then you'll need to vote on those comments as well, because there's not going to be a poll. I'm going to be picking my favourite from the comments for this one, and then there'll be a poll for next Funconventional, because I don't really have anything to pick from at this point. So go and like the comments that you want to be seen featured on the next Funconventional. Go and put into the comments, please, the Pokemon that you would want to see featured on the next Funconventional, and then we will see what gets picked for the next one, and then going into the polls for the one after that. So that's going to be it for the Spectrier, and I'm really looking forward to using it.